Trying to learn kanji? Click here to get a free ebook and study along with this lesson.
Hi everyone! Welcome to the Japanese Kanji video series. In this lesson, you'll learn the ten radical. Take a look at these kanji characters. Can you guess what they mean? By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to grasp the meaning behind these kanji characters. First off, can you spot the radical that's common in all of these kanji characters? It's this part here. It looks like a cross. This particular radical is called
10, which literally means 10 in Japanese.
The 10 radical is used in some of the most common kanji characters. Let's take a look at it in more detail. The 10 radical means exactly that, 10. But it also means completeness, likely because Chinese uses a base 10 number system.
As you can see, the 10 radical is also a kanji character on its own. From left to right, the first kanji means 10, the second means 1000, the third character means noon, and the fourth character means old.
The second kanji has the 10 radical at the bottom, paired with the person radical, the very first radical you learned. We covered it in lesson 2. In the olden days, people aspired to live to 100. So if one person lived to 100, then the idea is that 10 human lifetimes would equate to 1,000, which is the meaning of this character, 1,000. The third kanji means noon. To remember this kanji, identify that the 10 radical is at the bottom, and imagine that the top two strokes signify the number 2.
10 plus 2 equals 12, and 12 means that it's noon.
The origin of the fourth and final kanji is a little contested, but it has the 10 radical on top. Below it is mouth, another useful radical which we will learn in the next lesson. It's thought that something that has completed its cycle and relating to the mouth means that it's old food, or food that has dried out.
When something is dry, it hardens, and so this kanji carries a sense of something that is old, dry, or hard.
The 10 radical will usually sit in the bottom position and connect with another radical above it.
It can also be in the crown position. When it's in this position, the bottom radical is likely to be the mouth radical, in which case it adds the sense of oldness, dryness, or hardness that we talked about before.
Be careful when trying to identify this radical though, as there will often be crosses in many kanji due to the nature in which kanji characters are written. Some characters may look like they use the 10 radical, but don't be fooled. Here's a small list of characters which do and do not use the 10 radical.
Okay, now let's learn how to write this radical.
The 10 radical is very simple. It only has 2 strokes. The first stroke is a horizontal one that goes from left to right. This horizontal stroke rises ever so slightly as it approaches the right side.
The second stroke is a vertical stroke that starts at the top and goes down to the bottom, splitting the first horizontal stroke in half and forming a cross sign.
When this radical is part of another kanji, it'll usually connect to another radical at the vertical ends of the second stroke.
And that's it! You're done!
When the 10 radical is on its own, the kanji can be read as
10 for the on reading and to for the kun reading.
And when the 10 radical is part of another kanji, like in the original examples, common readings are
10, chi,
for the kanji meaning 1,000,
5, uma,
for the kanji meaning noon,
こ, furu.
For the kanji meaning old. In this lesson, you learned about the 10 radical. The 10 radical looks like a cross. It signifies the number 10 and the idea of completeness. You also learned the kanji characters for 10, 1,000, noon, and old in which this radical appears. It's commonly found in the bottom or crown position, and it's written with 1 horizontal stroke and 1 vertical stroke. In the next lesson, you'll learn about another common radical used in some of the most common and basic kanji characters, the mouth radical. See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Bye!